You're watching the best Fox 10 News at 9.
Well, it turned out to be the highlight of the All-Star festivities at Chase Field. It wasn't from a player, but a fan who nearly tumbled over the side trying to catch a ball. Keith Carmichael was caught by his friends before he fell 20 feet to the concrete. Well, today he appeared on network morning shows saying that he's shaken up, but thankfully his friends caught him. He also says he plans to auction off one of the balls that he did catch, and he will donate the money to the family of Shannon Stone. Now, Stone, of course, is the Texas Rangers fan who fell to his death while reaching for a ball just days before the All-Star game. His 6-year-old son saw all that happen. Now, these incidents, of course, are putting the spotlight on stadium safety. Now, stadiums, of course, bear with me for a second here, they are built to basically, by international codes, to be safe. We take international building codes, and John's going to join me here.
We're going to take in a ball game together, carrying on.
Yeah, we're basically at a ball game right now. So these international codes are built so when you're sitting, you've got a 26-inch bar ahead of you, right here. This is
anywhere in the world they have it? 26 inches. Okay.
And we go by this code with all of our new stadiums, 26 inches. But it's not taking into account that different sports are different. At a hockey game, you might sit here. At a Celine Dion concert, you might just sit here and enjoy the music.
Oh, no, you're up cheering and waving your arms and gyrating and dancing.
That's possible.
Yeah.
But how many Celine Dion concerts do you stand up like this and reach for a foul ball or a home run ball? And this is what's happening at stadiums, baseball stadiums and ballparks across the country. Now, for someone like me who's, you know, medium height, of course I'm barefoot right now, don't mind the pedicure. This is providing me a little bit of support, but not much as I reach forward. Now, you take into effect that Americans are a little bit taller than the average person in the world, and we're looking at international building codes here, and someone like John stands up and you go to catch a ball, and look what happens.
I'm going to catch a ball. This is right above my kneecap, so I am going over the railing.
Can you imagine all of this weight here?
Right here, you're going to topple over. You're top heavy, you're right over the railing, you're going to go.
Your center of gravity is at your hips, so it's not even safe for me. And then someone like John, who's even taller, the typical kind of American guy, tall, and it's really not safe. So we brought in the foremost expert in the country on this, Steve Adelman. He actually handles this kind of thing. He talks to stadiums around the globe and around the world about this. And he is an attorney here in the Valley who is an expert in this type of thing. And he joins us to talk a little bit about these incidents, these unfortunate incidents. Steve, tell me a little bit about what's being discussed. Surely with all of these recent incidents, there are some discussions being had by stadiums and maybe even Major League Baseball.
Well, I think that the major discussion is, are the provisions of the International Building Code regarding railing height sufficient for the way railings are used in modern stadiums and arenas? We know that at the Celine Dion concert example that you gave, most people are seated. At an opera, classical music, railing height's not going to be a material issue as far as keeping fans in their seats. It's going to be a material issue as far as preserving their sight lines.
So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Nets being placed, possibly? I mean, what are they discussing? Plexiglass, higher bars? What's kind of the realistic expectation that the stadiums are thinking about implementing?
At this point, everything's in play because there's clearly an issue. It's not an issue because of the vast number of incidents. There isn't a large number of incidents. We noticed the unfortunate events in Texas.
And we're showing the video right now of that.
Right. So that's what happened last week in Arlington, Texas. We in the Valley are all familiar with the fellow from Kingman who fell out almost during Home Run Derby a few nights ago. But everything's in play because these are catastrophes whenever they happen.
But you know what? I look at this guy right here from the Home Run Derby, and I don't see a catastrophe. I see just somebody who's acting very foolish and irresponsibly. Is there a lawsuit, if he were to fall and hurt himself, that would have happened? Would he even have a case for a lawsuit versus something like the Texas Rangers fan who everybody could feel for?
Well, there obviously would be very different lawsuits. So for the fan in Texas, his family, since he unfortunately died, his family would have a fairly strong claim. He was doing things that every fan who has a seat near a railing is expected to do. The outfielder was tossing him a ball. That's expected. He was leaning over trying to get a ball for his son. That's a routine part of the game. From the accounts that I read, he wasn't intoxicated. So he has a strong claim.
We won't have a lot of time here, but most of these incidents have happened, most but not all, at baseball fields around the country. Is Major League Baseball, do you think, looking at this and considering changes? And if so, what would you recommend they do?
I think they have to look at what they are dealing with. I mean, they have to. Whether they make changes or not is going to be a different question.
Yeah, you don't want to say you can't catch balls anymore. We're not going to throw balls to kids who are standing there with their gloves. So what kind of changes could they make that are realistic?
They could make changes that say outfielders can't toss balls into the stand. They could make changes that say we're going to add plexiglass shields that are of a greater height than 26 inches and deal with the fan complaints about sight lines. They could add metal bars to actually increase the railing height and deal with fan complaints about sight lines. Because always the stadium wants to have a better fan experience than you could get by sitting at home and watching on your high-definition TV.
Yeah,
otherwise,
that's true.
why buy the ticket?
But they also want to lessen their chance for lawsuits, I'm sure. Steve Adelman joining us tonight to talk about that. We appreciate your expertise tonight. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.